Hi guys, Zach here from VORTEX Martial Arts and Fitness, and we're here today on our second lesson of our beginner's iChuck course, Learn Nunchucks Online. If you haven't already guys, make sure you watch lesson number 1, which covers the inside spin, the outside spin, and the figure of 8. It's really important that you watch that video before you carry on with this second lesson, because we're going to be using the techniques from that first lesson in this second lesson. In this second lesson, we're going to be covering shoulder redirects, and we're going to go through that cool little catch that you saw in our first lesson. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with our iChucks course. Also, in the description below is a link that you can follow. It'll take you to our website where you can sign up completely for free for the beginner's iChuck course. Okay guys, so in our first lesson we covered the inside spin, the outside spin, and the figure of 8. So adding on to those, we're going to cover the shoulder redirects today, and we're going to cover that cool little catch. So we're going to start with the outside spin. From the outside spin, guys, you can see it's going in that direction. What we actually want to do is be able to redirect it and change the direction of that outside spin. So all we want to look at doing is we want to look at going from that outside spin, keeping that motion spinning, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come under, redirect, and go into that backwards outside spin. So I'll quickly show you that one more time, and then we'll go into the technicalities of it and how you guys can start learning it. So, from the outside spin, guys, we're just going to spin it on the outside, redirect, and come back spinning on that direction. So we're spinning it on the outside, redirect, changing the direction, spinning it back on the outside. One of the important things that we need to focus on when we're doing those redirects is that we don't lose tension in the chain. You can see my chain's quite short because these are speed chucks, so what happens is you're able to move them a lot quicker and it just looks a bit more fancy. If you guys have a longer chain, you can bring some together and cable tie them. If you're good with your hands, guys, you can also remove some links to make them shorter. You want to be looking at about 4 chains. Don't panic if you can't do that, guys, or if you've got rope. With rope, you can tie a knot in it to make it shorter, or you can just leave the chain length and continue to practice with the chain length as it is. So we want to look at that tension in the chain. We want to make sure that whenever we're using the nunchucks that we keep that tension in the chain. We never want to lose that tension. What happens when we lose that tension is anything that we try and do, the power is lost through gaining that tension back. So if I show you now what happens when I spin it with and without tension, it'll make a little bit more sense. Without tension, with tension. I'll show you how we can spin that. So, when we've not got tension in the chain, when I throw the nunchuck down, the tension regains. So all my effort is just being put in to regaining tension. If we keep the tension on the chain and we spin, we get that nice spin. Okay guys, again, no tension and we spin, all the power is being put into regaining that tension. If there's tension in that already, tension in the chain, and we spin, we can get those nunchucks spinning really, 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 really well. One of the easiest ways to maintain tension is to maintain speed. Now, when we're practicing, we're not going to really be doing it super, super fast, and that's understandable. So if you find the tension is lost, don't panic. Try and speed it up a little bit, and you'll actually figure it out, and you'll actually realize that the faster you go, the easier it is. Okay, so we're going to start with that outside spin into a redirect now and go through how we're going to learn it. So what we want to be looking at, guys, is we want to be looking at spinning the nunchuck in the normal direction in that outside spin. Get that spin nice and comfortable. All we're looking at doing then is we're looking at coming in for one spin as if we were starting a figure of 8 and coming up to the redirect. Now for the redirect, what we want to be looking at is we want to be looking at the back of our shoulder pad. we want to be hitting the back of our shoulder pad. When you guys start this, it's going to hit you in the back of the head, or it's going to come across the back this way. But when you do the redirect and you come under, just keep playing with it a little bit to see if you can find that perfect position for the chuck to hit. So when you do get that perfect position, you'll feel it bounce off the back of that shoulder pad and it'll go back into a reverse outside spin, which I'll demonstrate for you now. So we're spinning it, normal direction on the outside spin. Okay, we come in to start that figure of 8. So when we come round, we're looking at just one inside spin. So we're coming out, rotate round into that back of our arm, into that back shoulder pad. Okay, so we're going round, shoulder pad, and spinning it back in the other direction. Okay, so we're coming round, shoulder pad, spinning it in the other direction. I'll go through that a little bit slower for you guys now. So we go round. As soon as the chuck starts hitting that top point, just as we did with the figure of 8, we're going to turn our arm over and try and level out those chucks. So we'll be spinning it. It'll go round. Just as it comes up for that point for the figure of 8, we're going to turn it inside, starting that inside spin, and we're going to come under and point the chuck underneath our arm. So I'll go through that again quickly for you. So we're going for the outside spin. Soon as that chuck reaches that top point, we come in. Okay, so we're round. As soon as that chuck hits the top point, we come in. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the start of that figure of 8. Okay, so we're out and we're going just to that starting point of the figure of 8. So we spin it round, change direction, straighten the chucks up and hit that back pad. Okay, I'll show you from this direction, guys, as well. So we spin it round, come in for that figure of 8, boom, hit that back pad, and we're hitting that reverse spin. Okay, guys, so from this direction, coming round, inside back pad, into that outside spin. So now you notice that we're actually going into a reverse outside spin, which is something you guys want to practice as well. Just look at going for that normal outside spin, hitting that shoulder pad on the redirect, and practice continuing to spin it on the reverse outside spin. Excellent work, guys. So now you've mastered that. We'll go into the redirect using the top of our shoulder and being able to go from the outside spin, redirect, reverse outside spin, redirect, outside spin, which I'll show you now quickly. So it should look a little bit something like this when we're done, guys. Okay, so outside spin, redirect, reverse outside spin, redirect, outside spin. Boom, 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 boom. Easy as that, guys. Okay, I'll show you from this angle. So we're spinning, boom, reverse outside spin, boom, outside spin, boom, reverse outside spin, over normal outside spin. You can just keep practicing that and making sure that you're getting that motion really well. But don't panic, guys, we'll go through that over the shoulder redirect now. So for the over the shoulder redirect, we can actually practice it just on its own to start with, which I'll show you now. So what you want to get used to on this over the shoulder one is when the arm's up, you'll feel that pad and you'll feel that shoulder and all the muscle in that top of the shoulder. And what you want to look at doing just to start with, guys, is just with the chuck, you're just coming up, finding that good place, what feels right for the bounce, and coming back down again. Okay, so we're just going to practice boom, 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 up, down, up, down. You'll learn that, guys. You'll find that there's a certain place where you can hit, which works for you. Where it works for me, it might not work for you. So just play around with the different places you can hit, what feels right, and what gives you that really good bounce. It's really important at this point to keep that tension, which we went over earlier on in the lesson. To keep the tension, you need to keep the speed. Now for this one, you can maintain the speed and not be in too much panic that you're going to hurt yourself. So we're going to go into that over the shoulder bounce and come back down, maintaining speed and therefore maintaining tension. So focusing on that speed and focusing on that tension, we can just come up, bounce, down. When you get comfortable, guys, you can make it boom, boom, a little bit faster, boom, boom. So we want to be looking, when we come up, we want to be looking to hit the back of the shoulder pad. and then come round. Okay, so we're hitting the back of the shoulder pad where it feels comfortable for you. And we're just gonna practice like this. We're gonna come up, down, okay? From the back, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're just gonna practice that for now. Okay guys, so by now we have the outside spin into the underarm redirect, into the reverse outside spin, and now we're gonna add that over the shoulder redirect as well. By now we should have something that looks a little bit like this. We've got that outside spin, underarm redirect, into that reverse outside spin, and now we're gonna add that over the shoulder redirect, come down, and back in to that normal outside spin. So we'll take some time quickly now guys, just to practice that with you. So we're going from that outside spin, underarm redirect, reverse outside spin, overarm redirect, back into that normal outside spin. And then we can just keep practicing that and get it nice and fluid. So we're coming round, boom, reverse, boom, out, boom, reverse, boom. We can mix it up a little bit, come over the top, just keep going with those redirects, spin it, reverse outside spin. Just have some fun with those redirects, changing direction. Just have some fun with the outside spins. Just get really used to that motion of changing the direction of the chuck. Excellent work so far guys, well done. Now we're gonna add in that cool little catch. So now we'll go through practicing that catch. Now to do this one, we can start with the figure of 8, okay? When we get comfortable with that motion, what you guys are gonna try and do is open your fingers and then close your fingers. Okay, so what you're gonna be doing figure of 8. It's gonna be coming round, and then you're just gonna open your hand. Keep the thumb in, keep it in that sort of grip, guys, so you're still holding onto it nice and tight, and you're holding it in that grip, keeping that thumb back and open the fingers. So it'll look like this. So we've got the figure of 8, open fingers, close fingers, open fingers, close fingers. Take some time to master that and get that looking really cool, get that motion really fluid of the opening and closing while still keeping that grip nice and tight. And we'll go on to our next way we can practice this catch. So for this one, we're just gonna hold the chuck behind and we're just gonna whip it over into that catch, which I'll show you now. So we'll hold the chuck behind, hold it in that grip. So we're still holding the chuck like this. We're gonna hold it behind, and all we're gonna do is whip it over, and as soon as it comes over, close that grip. So your thumb will be closed and your fingers will be open. So it'll look like this. And as you whip the chuck over, okay, you're just gonna open that thumb and close that grip, okay? So we're here. We're gonna whip the chuck over. As soon as it comes in, open that thumb and grasp them, okay? And get that nice catch. If you get it really cool, you get that clunking sound, which sounds amazing. So we're just gonna practice that for a bit now, guys. So the chuck's over, grip's open, boom, whip it over and catch. Come back out, whip it over and catch. Get really used to that whip and then catch. Once you can do it with the fingers open and you whip it over and catch, try it with the fingers closed, whip it over as it comes over, open in that grip still, and close that grip off, okay? So it'll look like this. Okay, we whip and catch it. And we're gonna do an outside spin into a catch, which should look a little something like this. So outside spin, when we get comfortable, open fingers, catch, close fingers. Okay guys, so I'll show you that again. Outside spin, when the chuck comes to here, So it's spinning round. When the chuck comes to here, we're just gonna open our grip, let the chuck come in, and close our grip. Remember guys, the chuck is joint, so wherever this end goes, this end's gonna follow. So when it comes round, open, grip. So now we've mastered that, we're gonna add the figure of 8 into it and do the catch at the end of the figure of 8, and it's gonna look a little something like this. So we've got the spin on the figure of 8. As soon as we get to near that outside spin that we've just been practicing, so here, figure of 8, here, catch. Figure of 8. As it comes around on that outside spin, just as we've been practicing before, open grip, catch grip. Until you get it perfect and nice and fluid like that. What I want you to practice is all the techniques that we learned in lesson 1, all the techniques that we've just learned in lesson 2, and put them together to create a really cool nunchuck form. I'll take you through a quick example of what mine would look like. You may notice I added a little punch in at the end there as a nunchucku punch. I'll go through that in later lessons, guys, don't panic. But for now, feel free to play around with arm movements and different flows and different styles and try and develop your own unique style. That's the secret to nunchucks. I can teach you all the tricks, but you're going to develop your own style and you're going to develop your own way of performing those tricks. So now quickly, we're going to have a sneak preview into what we're going to be doing in lesson 3.